Rajiv Papadum. I'm sure he decided. Ganesh descended and proclaimed it to be on page 132 of Sky Mall. It was stumbling through the tchotchkes and deviously devised gadgets that refined and honed his sense of rage, his utter unbelonging in a world beset by modernity, chiding him to disassemble his electric toothbrush and bring his yet unrealized plan to its operational beginnings. My burgeoning awareness of his intended action, concurrent with the arrival of my $4.50 G&T, paralyzing me with fear until, post-quaff, I set my course to you, full of shaking and trembling. I mean, after all, this is the guy who stole my complimentary pillow and blanket, only one set per row. My complimentary pillow and blanket gone behind his back, his lumbar supported and mine crying in the vacuum and the subsequent confrontation when I confronted him about his thievery, politely. Dude, you jacked my pillow, aware of the cultural difference between our two peoples. Dude, why'd you jack my pillow? And the guttural yelping thing that came from his throat in response, its meaning, whatever it was, weaseling into my auditory canals and exploding like a suicide bomber in a Tel Aviv discotheque. The maddening weights of generations of oppression encompassed in the sound, and I fully taken aback, wanting to be like, dude, I'm not even Anglo. Gandhi was cool with me, you savvy brother? But his snaky eyes and his skin's mocha hue restrained my tongue. Guilt, Jane, fucking guilt, from forming any defense, and I sat back down like an asshole, sans pillow or blanket, defenseless, drowning in an inconsolable opinion of myself that my life, up to this point, and however much time remains, our ETA and previous time elapsed, who knows how long now, has been an irredeemable failure, and the explosion, melting concrete as the plane shifts in, girders shuffled like playing cards, is for nothing, and I'm going to die without ever having belonged either. Me and Paramjeet are brothers. But then, Jane, I conceived a mental image, Jane. The power of positive thinking regained its tenuous grip, and I shook off that evil feeling. I thought of my country and my life, and I heard a song, Jane, Old Glory, ragged in the gunpowder breeze, staring down upon the pitched battle, and the words came, play ball! And I was proud, and I realized I had known happiness, and that I would know it again, and I blamed Suleiman ibn Falafel for my descent into unwarranted despair, and vowed revenge against he and his people for shaking my confidence in the good old US of A, the gifts that are mine to have and bestow on my fellow man both. I thought of junior varsity football, Jane, and I thought of the student body government elections in the 11th grade when I was chosen to serve my classmates in the office of student body treasurer, a telling light and duty of my present employ, Jane. And I thought of Sigma Alpha Epsilon, and I scolded myself, for I have known nothing if not fraternity. I am an avid fan of the National Football League, Jane. My brother's there, too, in the persons of fans of the 1968 Super Bowl champion New York Jets. The multitude brothers I have of the green and white coloring are legion. These, my people, and he building a detonator out of an electronic toothbrush. I felt pity for the poor, confused man, Jane, and I wondered if I had been the one forced into his dark circumstance, would I have turned out differently? And I then felt empathy. The dirty rapings and fondlings of secret police and taxi drivers, an inability to perform simple arithmetic, wearing a silly dress on the mean streets of Calcutta, his dirty bloomers. If I had been forced to endure these things, would it have been me who decided, with the notable assistance of Ganesh, that the only way to regain balance in the universe and upon this temporal earth would be by performing such a dastardly act as destroying a large airplane full of screaming innocents with a crudely devised bomb composed of the aforementioned electric toothbrush and shoe soles of rubberized napalm or some such other mutable flammable liquid hardened to plastic in a dusty Mumbai laboratory? Would it be me doing it instead of him, he sitting next to me, eyes full of fury and hate, wild like Kali, feet beating a jittery percussive war dance, a funereal dirge for us, the rhythm what will come to signify our death, the gruesome death of us and everyone aboard this winged cigarello, and the inhabitants of whatever building we kiss, dead. He to Ganesh and we to Christian heaven, though they may be one and the same. I'm open to that, Jane. I really am. Where everyone is wearing Banana Republic and smells of lavender hibiscus hand cream. And I, in the interest of preventing this grievous catastrophe, I became determined to get the stewardess, namely you, Jane, to give him a blowjob. Thus my wild gesticulation, thus my Amstel light. Thank you for that, Jane. It really hits the spot. Sending cascades shimmering in the dry, fake air. Weightlifts drops aloft and floating at 35,000 feet. These darkies, I mean terroristas, or foreigners are all quite repressed, Jane. This is my reasoning, Jane. Jane, are you listening to me, Jane? Your eyes are wandering. Listen up. This is crucial, critical to not only our survival, but the generalized continuance of our blessed way of life. The millions, those down below, will be swept into the socio-political maelstrom of our actions today, Jane. It is your charming mouth that hangs in the balance. Do you want them to win, Jane? The terrorists? By not blowing Rajiv, you would only be helping them, helping the terrorists. Is that what you want? Now listen to me. My thinking on the matter, and I've given it some thought standing back here by the head, is that Suleiman's repression will be the key to foiling his malicious enterprise, the grisly end he has in mind for you and me, Jane. That by taking him in the lavatory and pleasuring him orally to a full and veritably Niagara-like release, you'll be doing your duty as a patriot and moreover as a member of this flight crew. By offering him just one small morsel of the joys of upright Western living from your copious sexual pleasure chest. Don't play coy with me, Jane. You've obviously been around the block a few times. His mission and the operation thereof will be effectively thwarted by his orgasmic bliss, and maybe, just maybe, he'll think we're not so bad after all. He will deign not to kill us, riding bareback to our doom on this erectile instrument of death. His destructive impulse will be rendered flaccid. Tables turn, so to speak. It is ordained. This is your sacrifice, Jane. You do this for your people, for all of us, Jane. You are the loving Earth Mother. You give yourself to save us. It has been broadcast, and I have seen. You'll be a martyr, Jane. There will be Good Morning America, Jane. There will be a book deal, an anchor spot on Entertainment Tonight. 32A, yes, with the turban. No, I'm sure he's circumcised. He's very clean. It's part of the religion. Stick a finger up his butt. Get freaky with that prostate. No, wait, no, don't. I'd forgotten his uncle in Bangalore. He had a difficult childhood, Jane. Unspeakable acts committed in the name of Krishna. His repressed memories of that awful steaming day in the market. The smell of cardamom and saffron. The rough carpet scratching away at his cheek. The sobs between clenched teeth. All this may well return with your digits insertion. Yes, he'll have to deal with those feelings at some point, of course. It's just that today may not be the most opportune moment in terms of our survival. I feel for poor Sahib, I really do. You see, Jane, this is a predicament. I'm really of two minds about this whole violent disarming thing. I've tried to put myself in his sandals, you see. I mean, like if a tsunami destroyed my fishing village and I'd been force-fed the Upanishads from birth, I mean, maybe I'd be a crazy turban darky too. I mean, come on, Jane, he worships an elephant god, for Christ's sakes. I know, we're supposed to cherish our differences, but you have to admit that's pretty out there. I tried, Jane. I really did. When I sat down and saw him there, brimming with his hatred of the other, I wanted to offer him a Slim Jim. But I had no Slim Jims, Jane. Not one juicy, meaty stick. Damn how I'd wish I'd for a Slim Jim. Oh, Lord God, why have I no Slim Jims? I mouthed in quiet lamentation. No Slim Jim just magically appeared, Jane. I admit it. I was going to chance it. You know, bluff him, Jane. Hey, buddy, how about a Slim Jim? The tangy flavor explosion will surely make you feel better about having your hands and feet amputated for stealing a pack of chewing gum and the whole talking like you got a big wad of snot lodged in your throat thing. I was about to say it, Jane, damn close, and then I realized not only that there was likely no Slim Jims aboard this rocketing phallus of doom, but wait, I said to myself, I'm like recounting my thought process now, Jane. Wait, I said, is a Slim Jim made of beef or pork or some unholy mix of the two? Furthermore, is it cows or pigs these characters don't like? Don't ask me, Jane. Something about being unclean. And then, in an unpredicted and totally abrupt change of tact, I was glad I didn't have any Slim Jims. The momentary questioning of my actual possessions of Slim Jims presently on hand, the ensuing calm and reflection necessitated by this egregious, on my part, Jane, lack of Slim Jims, giving me time to gauge the logic of offering PK Ramalama Ding Dong a Slim Jim in the first place, and my subsequent eureka moment of deaf cultural sensibility likely saving us all from our fury and untimely doom. Thank the Lord I had no Slim Jims. There are brands of these people, Jane. Sun Tzu said something about it. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it boils down to the fact that everybody loves Pop-Tarts. damn it, Jane, what I'd give for just one blueberry frosted. I knew this was going to happen, Jane. I swear I did. The second I got to the airport. Well, not exactly then, but shortly thereafter. But let me tell you, Jane, sit back, relax, have some peanuts. You see, there was this laptop in the x-ray machine, and it was just sitting there, and no one was coming to collect it, and it sat there sitting, fucking languishing. Who the hell knows what it could be? You can fit a shitload of explosives in a laptop, Jane. Trust me on that score. I saw a 48 hours expose on the very subject. That John Quijones, he's a crafty bastard, Jane. I assure you of his craftiness. Managed to get a goddamn armory through the security of a major metropolitan airport, Jane. It's those obstructionist assholes in Congress. Listen to 'em, bitch, Jane. Personal privacy, my ass. Strap-ons, Jane. That's what it's all about. Congressional Nancy boys, Democrats, Jane, don't want their illicit sex toys dumped out in the terminal. A dildo can be fashioned into a deadly weapon, Jane. But of course you already know that, from your in-flight training, I mean. I was standing there, and this laptop was in the scanner, right? And I'm eyeing it, Jane. I'm eyeing that soon-to-be exploded motherfucker and just waiting for it to tick or shake or something. And the fucking minute it did, Jane, the very second I was fully prepared to throw my body down on that laptop, Jane, my prone form saving all the women and children in line from certain destruction, my body suffocating the cruel darky blast. Oh, yeah, I'd been torn to shreds, Jane. Thanks for asking. Sure, my legs blown clear across the terminal, but I'm one man, Jane, one man, and God damn it if America's not more important than that. Take one for the team, Jane, just like I'm asking you now. So I'm eyeing this fucking thing, waiting, tense on my toes, Jane, waiting for it to shimmy, Jane, 'cause level with me, Jane, you know bombs don't tick, right? I mean, that shit's just in the movies. That's some Hollywood mumbo-jumbo, Jane. But still, I'm caught up in the moment, right? And I'm waiting for the little exploding fucker to tick or shake or something, waiting on the clicking fuse signaling my death and resurrection in the pages of major news outlets across this wide country of ours, Jane. The hellish ignition, and I'm thinking about my life, Jane, and I can't think of anything, Jane. Comprendo, baby? Like we're all gonna fucking die. And I'm about to scream like we're all gonna fucking die. But the kids, Jane, I think of the kids, the children, the babies, Jane, all the poor defenseless kids who are going to grow up and have their toes chopped off for looking at baseball cards. Fucking baseball cards. You know they do that. It's idolatry, Jane. The kids who will have their minds warped by some darky elephant religion. It's sick, Jane. It's really fucking sick. These people, Jane, how could God make people that backwards and fucked up? Staring at that goddamn laptop all the while, and then I get upset. I mean, downright irate, about to be like, whose fucking bag, man? And then this goof in front of me, some total dweeb, Jane. The kind of guy that got wedgies in gym class, Jane. The kind of guy I gave wedgies in gym class. That kind is all like, where's my laptop? And I'm like, you left it on the scanner, buddy. And he's like, oops. And I'm thinking, getting ready to sock this dumb motherfucker. If it weren't for dipshits like you, there wouldn't be terrorism in the world. Asshole. This is it, Jane. Go time. Time for action. Ready to roll. With my future, our future, balanced here. On one side, me, a seat down, him, Khalil Gibran Ben Pita. Back here by the head, you and your multilingual talents. Our lives come down to this moment. This is the one. 4th down, ball on the 3-yard line. Don't score and we lose. Touchdown and I'm banging cheerleaders all night. The moment I've been waiting for. Crazy, man. Barking signals, throwing off the linebackers. Misdirection, man. Yeah, that's it. We'll run a bootleg. 8th grade, Pop Warner. I wish I'd run a bootleg then. It wasn't my fault. The coach wanted a QB sneak. It's not my fault I fumbled. My hands were sweaty. The lights, it was hot. We lost the game. We lost the fucking game because of me. Never again. Coach said, nice job, Butterfingers. Asshole. It was hot. My hands were slick, and that guy, man, he dug that ball out of my gut. He was inhuman, possessing of inhuman strength for a 12-year-old. He wasn't 12, though. You just know he wasn't. He was probably in high school. Bust in from the city, if you know what I mean. That type. Ripped the ball out of my gut 6 inches from the goal line. Nice job, Butterfingers. Good one, Twinkle Toes. It was a stupid play call, but the humiliation, the tears, I was sobbing like a bitch. Never again, man. I wonder if Saddam Abu Hummus ever felt like that. They play that game with the goat's head, right? Kicking around a goat's head. I wonder if his coach made a stupid call with the game on the line and the goat's head was seeping brains and was all slick and Punjabi Ali Baba was trying to kick the goat's head in the bucket and his foot slipped because of the goat brains and his coach called him a stupid infidel and all the kids laughed and his life at that very moment ended, or at least felt like it ended. The pain and humiliation he was suffering so great. His coach called him the Great Satan and threw rocks at him and then chopped off his pinky because he missed the bucket, but like it was totally the goat brains and it wasn't his fault, and god damn it, if it hadn't been for the goat brains, his team would have won and he would have been the hero and he would have been genitally mutilating cheerleaders all night. Do they have cheerleaders over, Jane? They must. They probably still have to wear those hefty bags, though, not like cheerleaders here in the good old US of A. The guys would have carried him around the desert and put him on top of a camel, and he would have ridden the camel full of glory through the desert, and all the cheerleaders would have been ovulating, or whatever it's called, and he would have been a hero. They would have called him Salahuddin. What if he had won that game, became conqueror of the evil crusader infidels, and reigned over the most glorious days of his people's history? Would he still be sitting here making a bomb out of his shoes and toothbrush? Had he not been subject to that grievous humiliation, would he still be a terrorista? Would he still want to die in a holy righteous rage upon this fiery penile object of the heavens? Die in a blessed holy inferno and kill manifold non-elephant worshipping motherfuckers in the process? Whoa, those are crazy thoughts, man. This whole identifying with the terrorista gig, this attempting to understand the root cause of his suffering is fucking me all kinds of up. I'm losing my resolve, man. Resolute, steadfast, that's what I am. That's what we have to be. You're just gonna blow the terrorist, that's all, Jane. V.S. Biryani, get ready, pal. Get ready for a little of the good old American know-how. That's right, buddy. You ain't gonna be able to walk after Jane here gets through with you, much less violently overthrow the flight crew and send us rocketing into the HQ of Western Imperial scum. Not gonna happen, pal. We may die. I can see death at my door, like proverbially. He's wearing a top hat and some kooky Stars and Stripes ensemble. I recognize him. He is Uncle Sam. He is the murderer and betrayer of my people. His hegemonic thirst is quenched with my people's blood and oil. What? Mon oncle, how could you do it? You were so proud. You sold me a Chevy down at the dealership. It was the big President's Day sale. You told me I wouldn't get a better price anywhere. You threw in a limited warranty. But the carburetor, Uncle, the carburetor, it wasn't covered. Still, no hard feelings. That Chevy was a wicked ride. Jane! A Hummer for a terrorista. It's a worthy price to pay for the lives of every man, woman, and child aboard this aircraft. You don't have to let him come in your mouth, I swear it, just on your face. Muammar Couscous likes that kind of thing. He thinks it's hot. Told me he thinks it's hot to see you with his sperm on your face, dribbling all over your lips. Makes him feel like a man, he says. And he is a man, Jane. He may have been emasculated by a cruel and repressive regime, but he's still a man. Uncle Sam took a straight razor to his cojones, but he's my guy, Jane. Maybe after this is all over, we could get a place together, just 3 of us. We could be like one of them sitcom families, the dude, the stew, and the terrorista. They wouldn't have to show the sex bits, Jane. It could be like inferred. We could still be on prime time. After The Apprentice, Jane. I don't see why not. After Saeed Chana Masala gets a load of your tongue whirling around on his balls, he'd have to be into it. And you, Jane, I bet you make a mean lasagna, baby. I'm sure he'd be happy with your lasagna. Can you put goat in your lasagna, Jane? I think he really likes goat. It would make him feel more at home. Do it for me, Jane. And if that's not good enough, for your country. America's calling you, baby. Answer America's call. This is all very confusing. My feelings for MF Chicken Tikka are once again affecting my resolution. They're my feelings, Jane. What would you have me do? Stifle my feelings? I could, Jane. I really could. I could pretend I'd never laid eyes on the man, Jane. Go on living as if I'd never awakened to the word of Ganesh as manifest on earth. But come on, honey. That wouldn't be fair to either one of us. I'd be resentful, baby. I might not know it, on like a conscious level, but it would be there like subconsciously. You wouldn't want that, would you, Jane? I think if we survive, we should sit down and have a real rap session about this. My feelings for Mahmoud. I think honesty is the best policy in this situation. We'll just lay our cards on the table and maybe it'll come up all aces. Maybe we can all win, Jane. All three of us. This is providing, of course, we don't die when the throbbing member we ride upon crashes into a major American metropolis. Or we don't come crashing at all, dependent upon how Paramjeet Papadum reacts to my offer of oral sex. That's right, babe. I'm sorry, Jane, but yeah, it's gonna have to be me. I put some serious thought into this, and clearly you're not up to the task, Jane. Foiling this malicious enterprise will have to be my job this time. Sorry. Next time, I promise. Oh, I'm sure you're good, baby. Not a doubt in my mind, but I'm a real quick study. Sure, I ain't never sucked any dick before, but let me tell you, what I lack in experience, I make up for in enthusiasm.